Hi, there's no need for an intro, so I'm not even going to bother with that. I much rather talk about Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, if only I actually built something that I really like in this episode. So, because basically, last time I talked about how I did not like the fact that this park was turning out to be something that was very repetitive, perhaps, and I wouldn't do many new things and stuff like that. So yeah, me being dumb, I decided to build a station in the style of the rest of the park, not realizing two things, actually three things probably, actually two things, actually no, let's count them as we go. So, first of all, there's the fact of course that this would not look, that I decided to do it in the same style, and that was a bad idea. Then, second of all, it turned out to be one of the ugliest, it's not really ugly, I'm not going to call it ugly, that's not very nice of me to say, but I don't quite like it as much as I want it to, and it didn't really turn out into a building that's special in any way. I mean, it's good, but it's not very special, it's not something unique, it's not something that I really like. So, but yeah, I'm basically, I think that was 2 points, yeah. So, I only had 2 points. But, I don't know. I still don't like the building, but I'm just going to show it, and I'm just going to keep the building. I don't want to build things and then remove them. I'm just going to shape the environment around it then, I guess. Do some rock work and other things to make it actually fit into the position it's at and stuff like that. One of the major problems that I had with this building, which is actually going to be in a later part, it's not the stuff that I'm working on right now, just building the base right now, the foundation of it, is the roof. See, the base is actually something that I can get done. It's not something too hard, but the roof was something that I had to mess around with a lot, and I'm still not too happy about the roof, so I might actually edit that, well, off screen or something like that. I do still love the way that Zero G's set works with Shy Guy's sets, and even with Branch's path sets for the walls, so that is really great. Really love those pillars. Combined with Shy Guy's walls and some rocky textures for the bases. Really like that. And of course the trims and all the other odds and ends in Zero G's set, I mean not Zero G sets, but in that one set are actually something that I really like using. These windows, for example, they're also great. By the way, if you're confused about why I am confused about this set, it's because this set is very confusing. It's called Zero G's Things, but it's made by Station Jim Jr. It's things made for Zero G, so the set is called Zero G's Things, but it's kind of confusing as to some point people kind of forgot who made the set, so that's where that came from. Now the queue is something that I also need to pay more attention to. I tend to be very lazy with my queues. I am interested in architecture, in landscape design, and I can't bother with all those interior things. I usually just place a couple of railings or fences and then call it a day, which is a really bad idea. You should have real station gates and stuff like that. Also, the thing that I'm adding right now is just to add something to make the building not a square, because your building should not be a square, especially if it's big like this. But anyway, so for this station I actually decided to do some more things than I usually do, and we'll get to that eventually, but it's still not the most realistic thing ever. That beside though, that aside, but the thing is also, I am not a coaster enthusiast. I don't know if I've said this too much or not enough yet, but I'm not a coaster enthusiast. I'm just in this community for my love of architecture and flowers. I'm actually known by some people as that one guy who always does the flowers, and I don't know, I know stuff of roller coasters because you guys kind of taught me all that, but I still don't know too much. I don't have a damn how queues work. I don't even know if you should have those station gates at both sides, and I don't know. This is something that I do know though. Fountains are awesome, and if you have a little square, then you can always add a fountain in the middle. Well, not always, but it always looks cool. So yeah, that's one of my number one tips. If you have, concerning squares, if you have a square, there are many things you can use for a square. For example, restaurants are great for things like that. But also a fountain in the middle is just gorgeous. You can also add a pillar in the middle, with something like a sculpture on top of it, but building things like that is kind of hard in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, and there aren't many pillars, so fountains are generally the way to go. The only thing that always annoys me is the fact that everybody uses Ralphie's fountains, and everybody uses the same fountains, so you start recognizing them, and then it's just like a song, whereas you recognize a preset, and you're like, ah, no, screw that entire song, then automatically the entire song just sucks. I don't know, that's just what I think sometimes. But anyway, I just wanted to add some path covers around the fountain, just for some more detail, and add some of those things around it. So it has path covers, but I think it's not really something that you usually walk on. Though I do remember that from city trips, whenever we would see a fountain, we would just sit on it. So that works as well. And what this fountain also gives is that little, I don't know what to call it, that little cliff face with the path right there, which I can add rocks to, and it kind of looks pretty cool to me, at least. So I like that. And then I might always add rocks to that, or maybe even some buildings, I don't know. And yeah, one of the path cover tricks that I used in this park is just mix two ground textures and add a alpha texture, above that. So for example, take the sand and take the rock, blend them, and then add, for example, an alpha brick texture. Also, this set that I'm placing right now is something that many people are requesting, and for all you people who request it, I can't give it to you guys. Basically, there was a competition on Shy Guys World hosted by Toothpick, which was designed in inverts. Me and this other guy called Jake, we entered. Well, basically he built the coaster layout and all that, so he actually did more work than I did. He just went to me for the footage and stuff. So we built that and won the competition, so I got this set for it, but Toothpick was like, no, it's exclusive set, you may not give it to anyone until Design and Invert 3 comes around, which is November this year, I think. So I was like, okay, won the set, gave it to many people, and Toothpick was all angry, and I was like, oops. So I can't give it. I wish I could, but we just have to wait for a while for that. And in the meantime, the station is kind of nearing completion when it comes to the base level. Also, this is the part where I actually add some random details that controls stuff. And something that I've actually rarely done is actually something that I discovered just because I got some new sets. I now got crates and all that. So I figured, why not add them? And of course, I went totally overboard and added crates and boxes and stuff like that everywhere, and barrels. And so PewDiePie, Stefano, Mr. Chair. So I kind of went overboard on that. Shouldn't do that. So obviously I had to remove some of those things later on. But it's still something that's pretty cool to have in your stations, as long as you have something that's wood-ish. Station details are definitely something that I never realized you should put in your stations, but you definitely should put in your stations. I'm definitely going to consider interiors and interior design more from now on. So let's see, what's that? Oh, that's this is where I basically set sail to fail. I think the first part is actually pretty good. This is where I had a good design in mind, and I actually liked this. But the main problem is that later on I just totally screwed this over, and at some point I might actually redo this entire thing. I don't know how, I don't really know anything. I just know that I like the base thing and I like these side roofs, but now this is the part where it goes bad. This is the part where I made mistakes and I kind of want to go back to. But yeah, that's something I can't do. Also, for me it's an extreme lag fest at the moment. I don't know if it really is. It shouldn't be. But anyway, so I just added all those poles and then it just looked like a pole lag fest. But anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.